My name is Kazuhiro Miller, and they played me like a goddamn fiddle. Most of my audience has no idea what I'm talking about, but I swear this is relevant to our regularly scheduled program. For those unaware, I was involved in a hit and run. I was crossing the road, and I was hit by a car, and he did not stop to make sure I was still alive. And for the past 7 weeks now, I've been recovering from that, and it's been an incredibly difficult and traumatic experience. And the thing that's gotten me through that trauma, the thing that's actually helped me come to terms with it, is, of all things, Metal Gear Solid 5. Phantom Pain. Appropriately enough. Good name. Although I've got literal pain, not the phantom kind. So this is going to be an update of everything I've been through in the past few weeks, as well as my relationship with Metal Gear and how it helped me deal with trauma. So I have no idea who this is going to appeal to, but putting it out there. A little bit of backstory with my relationship to Metal Gear. I knew absolutely nothing about it, and then I was in, well, I guess the Americans call it a pawn shop, cash converters here. And they had Phantom Pain for sale. And so I looked at it and went, yeah, I had a little extra money for whatever reason, and I wanted to use it on something before the voucher expired, so Phantom Pain. I don't know anything about Metal Gear, but I'm really curious about it, so I'll give it a go. And I take it home, tell a friend of mine who has played the games, I'm gonna start playing Metal Gear, and he went, wait, Phantom Pain? No, don't start there. No, you wanna play all the other ones first. So he gave me the Legacy Collection on his PlayStation 3, both of which have been stolen now because my house has been broken into twice this year. I have the worst luck in the world. It's my life. It's makes for good YouTube content, I guess. Yeah. Interesting, at least. And so I did play from the beginning in terms of the chronology of the world of Snake, and I'm starting in the 60s with Snake Eater, and then I've played a few others. And so I was up to Phantom Pain, or Ground Zeroes, which I haven't played yet. Let's not get into the weeds here of the technicalities of a very, very complex franchise here. I'm trying to make it as accessible. But, so I was up to Phantom Pain. I had it downloaded in my laptop, but I hadn't really played it yet. And when I was staying with my family, because I live alone, and after I'd been discharged from the hospital, I was clearly not capable. Well, everyone else is clearly not capable of looking after my life. I, however, am stubborn and would have done it anyway. But I had to move in with my family for a few weeks there. And that's a whole story in and of itself. I don't know if we'll get into that in this video or maybe another, but I really had nothing to do, but I had my bed, I had my laptop, and also I name all my machines, so the laptop's name is Nitro. Not very creative, because it is a Nitro laptop. But anyway, I had nothing else. So, I was writing in a diary every day, because I had head trauma. And I think I actually got the fractures here, which have healed up. But I think that's the same side that Snake has the shrapnel stuck in his head, so weird coincidence. And also this eye had to be taped up because the nerve damage, but I've been wearing glasses this whole time. Yes, I can blink normally now, which is good. Thank you, steroids. I recommend taking drugs, kids. But got away from it on a tangent. I was writing in a diary every single day just to keep track of all my symptoms, and also to really help with my cognitive issues, if I had any. Writing is a very important exercise. Another one is gaming. Gaming's very good for hand-eye coordination and all that sort of stuff, and problem solving and what have you. So, gave Metal Gear Phantom Pain a go. And yeah, it's definitely helped with that kind of stuff. When I first started playing, I was really struggling with basic stuff and just coordination. And now I can play pretty well. I've actually done things that surprised myself. I had the timing and coordination and reflexes to do all these things. I'm thinking a lot faster than I was 7 weeks ago.
I'm afraid it's been 9 years. Damn it! Nosokoma! 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 Nurse! Calm down. Calm down. Try not to panic. Wait a second. Try not to panic. You'll be all right. There now. Just rest.
When I started playing that game, I didn't know if I could handle it. It's a very intense and very familiar opening. You know, imagine you wake up in a hospital, you're in bed, fluorescent lights above you, you can't really move, you don't know how you got there, you're in a lot of pain, you're high as hell, at least there's that. But it's this confusing alien situation that doesn't resemble your last memories leading up to it. You were fine and able-bodied, and now you can barely move. And a doctor comes out and tells you what's happened to you, and I didn't get that information as clearly as Snake did. You said, you've been in a coma for 9 years. In my case, I was apparently conscious and talking the entire week. A week had passed, and I had no memory, and I still have no memory of it. They gave me ketamine, which could influence how my memories were formed. I hope those memories come back. I got a little flash of it while I was playing Metal Gear, actually, of all things. And I'm told I was in this horrific accident. All these injuries have happened to me. I'm in this collar. I'm in a moon boot. Life as I know it is changed. For how long, no one really knew. But thankfully, I skip ahead a bit, I was visiting my workplace today. I was able to walk up the stairs with the crutches on, and I felt okay, and I'm still feeling okay now, so I think I'm on the mend. But while the collar's off and I can walk around or hobble around, the main issue is I'm going to need physiotherapy on my leg because I can't articulate it. And the head trauma, they say at least 3 weeks to heal. I get fatigue. I had chronic fatigue for 10 years, and I was getting over it. I was almost ready to do full-time work. Now I'm dealing with fucking fatigue all over again, and yesterday was a really bad day. I just had this feeling I'm just going to sleep my whole life away. I am not going to accomplish anything. I felt miserable and angry. And today I go out, and my friends are so happy to see me at work. And then I was out at the shops, and my adoring public telling me how beautiful and great I am. And it's like, okay, what the hell is going on here? I don't know if people are just being extra nice because I'm, hobbling around or something, but some people also thought I had a really cool scar. It is a pretty cool scar. I'll have a photo here. It's pretty sick. So, the opening part of that game, I didn't think I could get through. But I pushed through it, and I realized that Snake and I have a lot in common. And, a hospital is a horrible place to be. And where I was, they're just overworked, understaffed. I wasn't getting the care I needed. And every night, they would put this syringe into my abdomen to stop blood clots. Apparently, they had to inject that directly there. They couldn't put it in an IV or something. No. So that definitely made the situation even more horrifying. But unlike Snake, I wasn't alone. I always had friends and family around. As far as I remember, I was never really alone. And I was just so out of it. I didn't have this initial... When I woke up, I didn't freak out or anything. I was like, this is weird. And my friends were visiting. Oh, what happened? I don't remember. And it really wasn't until afterwards that the reality of the situation sunk in. And it still continues to be like, I do have moments where it's just, I'm horrified about what I've been through and what's happened to me. And again, Phantom Pain perfectly encapsulates how that pain continues to follow you. It doesn't just end. You don't just get over it. And at least in my case, I'm very fortunate that, I don't know, it's just the way my brain's made. I tend to move on pretty quickly from most things. But every day, this physical and psychological pain follows me around. I mostly slept through the day, so it was nighttime, and it kind of visually was quite reminiscent of Phantom Pain, and dreaming of escaping. Wish I had an Ishmael there to help me out, but the game was sort of this catharsis of, I was trapped in that hospital and I didn't get out until they let me leave, but in this game you sort of play this fantasy of, well, what if someone helped you escape? And there's also flaming demon horses. That's... Well, I was on ketamine, so I saw some shit that wasn't real. And the game gets more and more intense and more nightmarish until you escape. And you get this catharsis, and Ocelot rescues you, and there's this hope, I guess. That's how it connected with me, I suppose. And so I kept going on with the game, and your first mission is to rescue my man, Kazuhiro Miller. I've played the other games. In particular, I've played Peace Walker, so I'm well aware of Kaz, and he's an alright character and what have you, but you rescue him in this game, and he's being tortured, he's severely injured, he's lost limbs, and he talks about what he's been through and his anger, and that really connected. I know that scene. Gonna play that scene here.
Snake. Why are we still here? Just to suffer? Every night, I can feel my leg, and my arm, even my fingers. The body I've lost, the comrades I've lost, won't stop hurting. It's like they're all still there. You feel it too, don't you?
I know that scene is become a meme. Why are we here? Just to suffer? To me, though, I'm playing it going, homie gets it. This fucking... Yes, it's how I feel. And there's a lot in his dialogue throughout the game. A lot of his experience. Kaz was kind of this goofy character. He's a little bit of a dork. He's delightful. And then he just loses a lot of that in Phantom Pain. He's just so bitter and angry and revenge driven. And that's everything I felt. It wasn't fair what was done to me for no reason. There was no reason that had to happen to me. And I've never been that angry before. I've never really been angry at all, and I didn't have the language to articulate what I'd been through and what I felt. And so playing that game and watching Kaz, and on my bad days I kind of feel like, well, why am I bitching about this? I haven't really lost anything. I'm lucky. I should be happy that it wasn't worse. I should be feeling a lot better than I am. Why am I making such a big deal about it? Hey, Kaz lost an arm and a leg. I haven't lost anything, but you do feel like you've lost something. And I don't know if I'll ever be the same person I was. I'm angrier, more bitter, less trusting. And that's just a survival adaptation, you know? But on the other hand, Kaz has lost a lot more than me, and he keeps on fighting. He's back in action pretty quickly. I mean, it's not realistic. Snake and Kaz, through their physical and psychological traumas, they just get up and keep on fighting. And, I've been wearing this Diamond Dogs beret a lot, because it's almost my armor, my motivation. I'm a Diamond Dog. I keep on fighting. I think the most important thing that separates Metal Gear from other stories about disability, and why this one connects with me so much, is that it gets real, it gets ugly, it gets practical in its depiction of disability and disfigurement. And the entire game, or the franchise actually, is this deep rumination on disability and disfigurement and death and all of these things. And that just really spoke to me in a way that other stories that depict disabled people, it's more like inspiration porn is the term that gets tossed around, where it's very sanitized, it's wholesome and empowering and all this. No. Not being able to walk is a fucking shit. It's degrading, it's embarrassing, it's difficult, and you're mad as hell. And you want revenge. You want to fight the person who did this to you. Phantom Pain does things with disability that I don't think other stories would do. And they might be controversial if others did, but I think it's handled so brilliantly. One example is there's a character, Huey, and when they're interrogating him, torturing him, he's paraplegic. You've got this frame thing around his legs that helps him walk. And they program that harness to actually overextend his leg the other way, causing him a lot of pain. And that to me was just, wow, okay, they're really going there. They're really facing disability in a way that's ironically humanizing. These characters are all treated like real human beings, not inspiration porn. So every day, basically, for the past however many weeks, I mean, we're at the 7-week mark now, since I was in the accident. So 1 week in hospital, and then so basically 6 weeks. I've almost been at this kind of summer camp with camp counselor Kazuhiro. I've really connected with these characters in Phantom Pain in this intense way, and it's like a bizarre therapy. It's confronting and it's cathartic, and it's the thing that's gotten me through this, because I got nothing else. I can't leave the house, and I talk to my friends online regularly, but to be physically impaired like that, I'm a very active person. Before the accident, I had just broken my record of distance of cycling, and to have that taken away from me again. My whole life, I've hated my body. And if you're familiar with this channel, I am a detransitioner. I hated my body so much that I wanted to be a man, because I wanted to be strong. That's the most important thing to me. I want physical strength and power. And I've been denied that over and over and over again. Although, maybe having to fight harder just to get this body to work at all makes me stronger than the average person, maybe. And a lot of those gender issues are actually coming back for me. Staying with my mum definitely makes me feel ashamed to be a lesbian. She is not the most supportive. She's homophobic and ableist. She hates wheelchairs for some reason. Many years ago, I was in a wheelchair because of chronic fatigue syndrome, and she went, "No, you don't need it. No, you're just being lazy, or you're just giving up," or, had a huge deal about it. And my mate let me borrow another wheelchair now, and when he brought it over, she had the same attitude of, "Oh, that's a bit much. She doesn't need that." Physically could not walk, in excruciating pain, but yeah, sure, mum. And the whole lesbian thing she treats as a phase, and that was one of the reasons I transitioned. And to this day, I still, lately I've been having those anxieties of, well, I can never fully conform to these archetypes of male and female, and being gay makes things a lot more complicated. And playing Phantom Pain as Snake, as this beefy masculine dude, and embodying that, I was like, yeah, this is speaking to me, and I don't know why. I think I will make a separate video. The lesbian experience is sort of being a little bit masculine. The same thing with, gay men can be effeminate, gay women can be masculine, and a lot of those masculine things appeal to them. And so this game, I'm amongst these military characters, and it's all about strength and endurance and all of that. So there was that fantasy as well, and getting to play out a very masculine fantasy. You can actually swap out Snake for other characters, and so I swapped it out for a female character, and just to see what it felt like. And yeah, it's not that there's anything wrong with my body. I don't hate being female, but a lot of those anxieties or that sense of dissatisfaction, I guess, is coming back. And obviously it comes from feeling trapped in my own body, and so every day for a couple of hours I get to run around as Snake, live out this fantasy. One time I was playing, and a bit of my memory came back of the accident. It was the weirdest thing that triggered it. So you enter this warehouse, and there's blood everywhere. That didn't get to me. But in the corner, there's a bit of, it looked like fabric, it looked like denim. And I was just, boom, right back on the road, looking down at my jeans where I'd been cut, and there was blood. And I kind of freaked out for a second, and then it disappeared. So hey, maybe if I play Metal Gear enough, I will get all my memories back, I don't know. And I do want those memories back, but at work today, my co-worker, she was telling me about what happened. And so I had just left work, said goodbye to everybody, and they were walking up the stairs when there was this huge commotion on the road. So she and one of my other co-workers, they went down, and they were at the scene of the crime, because there was a crime. And I was lying on the ground, and she tells me that I need help. I need help. And I was just not really there, and I wasn't quite responsive, and they were talking to me, and she was trying to remember things. She likes cars. So maybe they're talking to me about cars and just trying to get me to focus. The ambulance driver said I was hysterical. The doctor said the same, hysterical. But no, the way my coworker described it, I don't know if it's just saying names, but the way she described it, she said I was just sort of detached and not sure what was going on. I wasn't really losing my mind with pain. I was just sort of in shock. And I wish I remembered. I mean, I was there. The memories must be somewhere. It's frustrating. So not having that context, it makes it a lot harder to come to terms with it. And sometimes I've had intrusive thoughts. I haven't had intrusive thoughts in a long time. But when you're mentally traumatized and stressed enough, I suppose that's going to happen. And I was just so convinced that, nah, there wasn't an accident. I'm being gaslit by my mother, probably. The accident never happened. There's nothing wrong with my leg. And, I mean, thankfully I didn't act upon it. I mean, you can just walk around normally. It's all psychological. There's no pain. Nothing. And I did have, before transitioning, I did have a lot of intrusive thoughts. So I'm aware of what it is now. Back then, I didn't even have a therapist tell me, oh, by the way, sometimes you're going to have weird thoughts and it's going to feel very compelling, but don't listen to them. Would have been very helpful. The other thing I want to talk about is my mother, who is a whole subject unto herself, but I basically had to run away from home again because she drove me away. And she was not a good caretaker. She definitely guilted me and controlled me and did all the things she normally did. I mean, when you're injured like that, you're not going to be polite and perfect and friendly and all that all the time. She couldn't handle it. At one point, the day I left, she screamed at me, "You never asked me what I wanted or what you could do for me." Bitch, I can barely walk. I rely on you guys for everything right now. I felt like a prisoner. See, where I live here, very close to public transport, you can probably hear it in the background, I could have gotten myself around quite easily. My family lives in the middle of nowhere. There is no public transport. I was stuck, so I had to get them to do everything for me. And she made me feel so guilty for needing to ask for help. I, to this day, have an issue with asking for help because of my mother. So when I was staying there, I would try and do everything myself. No, stop moving around. I need to do things for you. And then I'd ask her to make me food, which I only eat once a day. Just cook a heap of stuff. There we go. Done. For the whole day. You only have to do that once. Oh my god, she would act like it was such a chore, such a burden, and she would be like, oh my god, it's like I'm feeding a cow. Because I eat 2,000-3,000 calories in one sitting. Efficiency. So, yeah, don't guilt me about my eating habits, or the smell of meat, or any of those things, but she did. Oh, and so I'd ask for help, and she'd make me feel shit for doing that. So then I try to do things myself, then she'd yell at me for doing that, and it was just such a... It's gaslighting, it's a mind game, it really is. So, ran away, got some control of my life back, so I felt a lot better. When I was staying there, all I had was a bed to sit on. So all day, every day, I'm just in the bed, writing, drawing, doing what have you. My back was killing me. And there wasn't really there wasn't really anywhere else I could go. So last week, I went over and I visited again to see my brother. We're going to watch Sandman, which is great, by the way, really good. And I love watching it with him. And Mum wasn't there, thank God, for a couple of hours. She didn't come home for a couple of hours after that. So she comes in, says hello, and she didn't bring up any of the past drama with us. She let it go. And I'm wearing this. I'm wearing the hat, not the whole outfit. But first thing she says to me practically is, "Oh, you know Dan Aykroyd carries around a police badge everywhere he goes?" "Yeah." "It's a sign of autism, you know." "Yeah." By the way, Dan Aykroyd is a deputized police officer or something, so he has a reason to carry that around. There was a purpose behind it. It's not just autism, but there's nothing wrong with autism. And I said, "Yes, Mum, yeah." "Well, why are you wearing that hat? You're 30 years old. Why are you doing that?" First of all, most people wouldn't know what this is or what it means. It's just a hat. Not walking around in a full-on costume, not got a box over me, Metal Gear style, sneaking around. So I don't think this is inappropriate, and for me, well, especially that day, getting out on public transport, I think that was the first time I used a bus that day, actually. And I don't know, this sort of gives me comfort. Does that hurt anyone? No. So, she had this huge go at me. Well, why? The entire time I was playing the game in her house before I left, every day she goes, "Stop playing, it's depressing." Stop saying, yeah, it is confronting. It's confronting my issues, and I want to think about these things and explore these things and face them. It's always been my way. I'm not an avoidant type. When I was a kid, and I would see something that scared me, for example, deep sea creatures. I remember seeing in the newspaper, there was this, little fold-out magazine thing you go there, and had all these photos. The first time I'd ever seen an anglerfish or any of those, and it scared the shit out of me. It gave me nightmares, freaked me the hell out. And I said, give me more. I need to see, I need to understand. Give me more intel. But I don't think it is an autistic obsession. I think it's an obsession born from trauma. Because I can think about other things, I can talk about other things, even though Metal Gear is pretty much my only access to the outside world sometimes. She will never see me for who I am, and she will never support anything I do, no matter what. I mean, so she said, why do you play this game every day, and all you talk about this game, and you draw the characters from this game, and you're just so fixated on... It's not autism. And so there's another video I did about how I wasn't born with autism, but from the age of 11 to a couple of years ago, had all the symptoms of it. I was diagnosed with it, although that's since been revoked, because of autoimmune issues, gut microbiome, something like that. When I corrected those issues, mentally I felt a lot better, and I wasn't obsessive anymore. I will never be that. When you have autistic obsessions, it takes over everything. You don't know how to talk about anything else. It's isolating. You can't connect with other people. And I mean, right now, I experience a different kind of isolation. When you go through a trauma like that, and especially when it's in the forefront of your mind, it's so recent, it's hard to connect with other people. And I've got some friends who are going through some family struggles, and they talk to me about those issues, and I try to be as supportive as possible, but it's really conscious effort, where it would have been effortless before. I'm listening to them going, okay, yeah, so from their perspective, I guess they're feeling this, and I should say this, and it's almost robotic, and I don't want to be that way. It used to be so easy. It's almost like being autistic again, I guess. It's just that I'm so wrapped up in my own pain that you don't have a lot left over to show sympathy for other people. I try, I do my best. I don't think I'm a complete arsehole, but it's, again, seeing that transformation in Kazuhira, where he's a fairly optimistic, upbeat character up until that point, and just seeing him stuck in that rage all the time, and it fuels all his decisions, the paranoia, everything like that. I just went, yeah, that's exactly what it feels like, but I'll try not to be as extreme as him. The other thing that the game taught me was about relying on others, about teamwork. It's kind of funny. The whole game, there's a whole buddy system, and you bring a partner with you into each mission, and there was a lot of times where it gets quite intense, and you realize, oh, no, I can rely on these other characters, or Pequod, the helicopter, to help you to get these things done. It's not just you by yourself. And in real life, I've had to learn that as well, that I've had a lot of really good, really helpful friends who have helped me through this situation. I'm not alone, and I can rely on them, unlike certain family members. I still struggle to ask for help. I want to do everything myself. I want to be capable. I don't want to show weakness. And I just expect to be disappointed all the time because my family can't provide for me in the way I need. When I first got out of hospital, I was in the wheelchair and a Zimmer frame. And just last week, I went to the physiotherapist and he told me I'm now ready for the crutches. And honestly, I was kind of excited about that. I went, yeah, I can be like us. It was kind of, I don't know, a little bit of subtle cosplay, if you will. I don't know why he's sort of been my spirit guide, my inspiration, whatever you want to call it. He's definitely helped me through this situation, and Venom Snake as well. There's a lot I can identify with there, but I don't know. Kaz has really helped me through this experience. I know it seems silly; it's a fictional character in a video game, but seeing someone go through everything you're going through and being just as pissed off about it, it's important, I think. After everything I've been through with this trauma, this game was speaking to these experiences so directly, and it was almost like I felt if I get to the end of this game, I'm going to find some kind of resolution. And I mean, I'm halfway through. I've done the chapter 1, so defeated Skullface. No real spoilers, I guess, but when they do, I mean, look, it's a Kojima game, so there's some cheesy, weird ways about executing certain parts of the story, that staring at each other in silence on the back of a Jeep for 10 minutes, you know what I mean if you've played it. But when they do get revenge on Skullface, it flashes back to where Snake and Kaz were at their most vulnerable, when they had just been brutalized by the actions of Skullface. You know, that they are brought back to that moment. And to me, especially visually, that was so powerful and resonated with me that, yeah, and now I've got the shackles off of me. I don't have the collar on me anymore, or the moon boot. But I'm still kind of there. And all that's left is the scar on my leg and the limp. But I'm still trapped in that moment of when it initially happened. And, well, I don't think I'll ever get vengeance quite that way. That's illegal. But the insurance commission, they've taken my report of the situation and doing the same with my would-be killer. So I will get compensation eventually. There will be some kind of justice for everything that I've been through. Hopefully I find some kind of satisfaction in that. Although vengeance would be nice. I'm not gonna lie, sounds pretty good. That about covers everything. Until next time. See you, Space Cowboy.
Doesn't feel like this is over. And I'll never be whole again.